Guess who can't come up with a good intro? Today we're going to be looking at creepy and scary historical pictures. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, it's good to see you again. Alright. In 1929, London would face extremely hot temperatures, causing mannequin dolls to appear like this. This photograph was originally published in the June 1st, 1929 issue of The Sphere, a British newspaper that ran from 1900 to the 1960s. The image was included in a News of the Week section where it carried the caption, "Wilting lilies, two wax bathing bells in Newbridge Street register extreme depression owing to the heat wave. Even human as well as waxen beauties have felt apt to wilt in recent burst of hot weather." They looked like the Smile Movies promo that was like everywhere.
Holly. We've been trying to contact you regarding your car's extended warranty.
And while we're on melted mannequins, Santa brought even more weird shit for us. These are melted wax figures rescued from the 1925 fire at Madame Tussauds London Museum. Do you find these melted mannequins creepy? Or just normal mannequins creepy? Because I sure do. Ever since...
It's fine.
I knew it was gonna do that.
The Unrestrained Demon. The Unrestrained Demon is an anti-electric propaganda artwork that illustrates a spider with the body of a light bulb and a skull for the head, with its deadly electrical wired legs. It exudes fear, but not to me, because I'm a big boy.
Bad boys.
But seriously, in hindsight, more modern countries are able to look at this and be ignorant and think this is over-dramatized. But the truth is, it was really like this back in the day. Most cities looked like this, and electrocutions weren't uncommon, as it was seen as a quote, shoddy job at the time. A graphic example is John Feeks. In 1889, he was an electric worker in New York City, and he accidentally grabbed a live wire and was killed almost instantly. However, his body would be entangled in the live wires, cutting and burning him for up to an hour, as roughly 1,000 spectators gathered around to watch the spectacle unfold. So yeah, maybe this is good propaganda. I also want to point out, if you don't have to worry about electrical wires that you see on poles nowadays, like me, then we have it good, because in some countries today it's still like this, with unsafe work procedures as well as shoddy designs like this. Dolls are there for children to play with, to listen, to go on adventures with, but with some pictures of an old doll factory, children might be less keen on playing with them. This picture shows dolls' heads waiting to dry in a factory, and it's terrifying. It looks like Chucky at the end of Child's Play 2. This picture's origin was kinda hard for me to find. I believe it's from an old Castelloid factory, which used to be located in Colville. I think the time that can be seen in the photo makes it ultra creepy. But looking at other photos from this factory, it just looks like this factory is a nightmare to work at. Like, look at all these creepy doll parts. I work nights because it's better pay and I don't care about my mental health. But I would not work at this factory, even if it was a fat check. Do you find these dolls scary? And if given the opportunity, would you work at this factory? The 1921 through 22 Russian famine saw millions of deaths and forced Russian people to eat each other to survive. The famine was caused by multiple things, such as mass confiscation of stored grain, plus a severe drought and failed harvests, accelerated the starvation of millions. The effects of World War I, as well as Russia's Civil War, can also be pointed to. Plus just government incompetence. It just was a big old mix of shit that caused roughly 5 million to die. Although that number is speculation. It's theorized 1 to 10 million people died, but at the time people weren't really keeping track. If death wasn't because of starvation, it was because of the effects of cannibalism. Hence the picture of selling dead people's body parts. This is obviously not safe, as deteriorating bodies can carry diseases, like cholera. But at the time, that wasn't the biggest of issues. While this famine only lasted 1 year, the effects were astronomical. It led to capitalism and free trade within the Soviet economy. That's really saying something for communist Russia to introduce things like that, albeit they were small changes. The experiments of Guillaume Deschet de Boulogne were a series of electropsychological studies to assess how facial muscles produced our expressions. By the way, I'm going to butcher that guy's name, so I'm just going to throw in a clip of a guy who can actually say it.
Guillaume Duchenne.
Like most ways humankind have found things out in the medical and procedure world, these experiments were through inhumane testing. As a French neurologist,
Guillaume Duchenne
would use restrained mental health patients to experiment on. While Guillaume's work in neurology has taken mankind further, using mental health patients is just shitty. He also used decapitated heads of criminals, but I don't think they had the ability to care at that point. Either way, Guillaume would find many different results with electroshock. And if you look up the experiments, you can find all different types of photos. But again, those people in those photos are usually mental health patients. The final portrait of the Lawson family. On December 25th, 1918, in Germantown, North Carolina, Charles Davis Lawson would murder almost all of his family. Days prior, Charles would take his family out for a shopping spree, as well as getting their family portrait taken. Charles is seen here. The murder spree began with his daughters, Carrie and Maybelle, who he had shot and bludgeoned. He then hid the bodies in the family's barn. He then proceeded to go to the family house, shooting and killing Fannie Lawson, his wife. He then found his two sons, James and Raymond, who were hiding in the house, and then shot them as well. It is then reported that he bludgeoned his baby, Mary Lou. Arthur, Charles's 19-year-old son, was sent off to an errand before the massacre, sparing his life. Charles would then take his own life hours later in the forest nearby his house. Arthur would be the sole survivor of the Lawson family, and this family photo is one of the most disturbing family portraits ever. Did you know about the Lawson family murders? Are you ready to get mad? The two-headed Sorry about that. The two-headed dog of Dr. Vladimir Demekov. This crazy Soviet-Russian scientist is a piece of shit. Decided to merge two dogs together. What you currently see is actually the 24th attempt at this, and it is noted that this wasn't the most successful try, but rather the most publicized try, which means this piece of shit did this a lot. The dog or dogs in this original photo would only survive for 4 days. Demekov's longest living subject survived 29 days. As the experiments continued, dogs were able to show signs of life, like the ability to eat, drink, swallow, and blink. And if you're thinking, oh, crazy Soviet-Russian scientists, an American scientist tried this as well. But on the bright side, they euthanized the dog within a couple of hours, so that's a plus. We f***ing suck, man. Holy shit. Alright, that last one made me mad enough to end the video. Like and subscribe if I earned it. You guys like the new poster that I can't really show because the ring light's there and then my computer screen? It's Spider-Man. It's pretty cool if you could actually see it. Here, we'll do this. Watch this. Boom. You can perfectly see it now. Alright, bye.